Hello, welcome back to the studio. We're gonna do a cool one today. We're just gonna skip one page because I need to do lilac and I want to do this one in more of a purple. I don't know if you saw the favorite animals piece I did. It was like a kind of chalky green and it was a few months ago, maybe in December. But we're gonna do a similar style this time, favorite flowers. So that'll be fun. We're going to use this palette right here, Japanese watercolors. It's from Zen. It's still unavailable on Amazon, RIP, and I don't know where else to get it, but that's where it's from. We're going to be using this purple shade right here. Then I always have my paper towel. This one I've kind of used a lot, have some acrylic on it, but I like it, still working. We have a fresh cup of water. And then we have our page, of course. So how it's gonna work is I'm going to paint each of the flower shapes that I like. My favorite 8 to be specific. Why? Not sure. And then I'm gonna Zentangle around them and we'll create a nice picture and just hang out. So let's start up here. My first favorite is a peony. Oops, sorry. My 8th favorite is a peony. I feel like you can't really go wrong with them. Although why I've chosen to do this, I'm not so sure because they strike me as a little difficult to draw. So I say drawing, I am using a paintbrush. I still haven't decided when to use what term. So there's that, but it's basically a ball of petals that are all kind of curved around. So what we want to do is show that can you see this okay? Show that they're all going in different angles. So there's going to be probably one coming up through here. And with this kind of thing, I'll sometimes kind of do part of what I need to do and then finish it depending on what's in front. So this is the edge of one petal, but where it goes to, I'm not sure. So we're gonna draw the back of the one in front of it, show that curving around, and then maybe there'd be one here. Just kind of wing it. So I want to show them like this. This is going to be interesting to Zentangle. I think I'm probably going to leave the middles open, just like I did for the animal one. So we kind of have the top. This is how they're all coming inside, and so this can be one that's curved over. I'm mostly using the tip of my brush for this. I just filmed a little tutorial on how to watercolor for TikTok, and it's not that specific because I don't know exactly what people need help with. So once I get some feedback on that, I'll make a longer one for YouTube. Okay, I think that's pretty good, but I want to balance it out a little with one right here, and then we'll do a petal kind of folding over. Hopefully that comes across, and then maybe another here. I don't think I'm gonna do leaves. Yeah, no, maybe later, but not right now. Okay. So why do I like peonies? I don't know, they're just very cute. I have liquid IV with me today, by the way. Rainbow sherbet flavor. Feeling really tired, which I feel like I've been saying a lot, but I just am, so I needed a little bit of a boost. Okay, the next one, 7th favorite flower, is a pansy. And let's do that at this bottom corner, kind of make a little section for ourselves. So at the bottom, inside the pansy, I'm just gonna do a little, and these are not to scale, obviously, a little upside down heart. And then it has 4 main leaves. And then a bigger leaf at the back, if I remember correctly. When I was little, I used to eat pansies from the garden. That's weird. But I think someone told me they were edible, and I was like, oh, bet. Snack time, no problem. So we'll give this some little detail. And then also pansies are typically this color. Also, someone a few months ago requested a purple flower video because her cat's name was Violet. And a pansy is similar to a violet, so hopefully this satisfies that. Okay, I'm into it. And I just like how they're kind of dainty and all over the place. Okay, next we have a dahlia, which is going to be interesting to draw because there's so many little bits. Dahlias my mom loved, so obviously I like them. And I know she had loads in her garden. And what I really like about them too is the edges of the petals can be a different color from the rest of the petal. And I just think that looks really pretty when it's all in a pom-pom together. So we're gonna do the center like this. Then this is another one kind of like the peony where there's lots of petals all kind of clustered around the middle. And so, oh no, not construction. I'm going to kind of, this is going to be at a different angle from the peony, but like start in the center with them smaller and then have them grow outwards. They don't necessarily overlap in the same way. I think that's due to the angle. Like if we did the peony from this angle, probably be similar, but I wanted a little variety and also didn't think that hard about it. So this is what it is. So now that we've done this first kind of level, I'm just gonna go between the spaces and fill in with new pointy petals. Behind, no strict order, because obviously it's an organic thing. But I do want them to get a little bit bigger typically as we move outward. Oh, let me put my paint here. It doesn't quite fit. And again, I'm using the tip because I am really drawing these, and if it's something I haven't quite done before, I like to use the tip because then I can get a gauge of it. So let's say like I do a little, just want to see if that looks good there. Okay, yes it does. Then I will thicken it up. And I haven't been doing that much, but I do have the option. So I think it's pretty close to done, but anywhere that feels like we need a little balance, we can just pop some leaves or petals, my bad. That looks nice. Dahlias are definitely more round, so I'm gonna try and have that come across by just filling in these little edges. Maybe one here. Okay, I'm happy with that. So, a little sip of juice. Helicopter intermission. Parmesan is here with us, by the way. Okay, my 5th favorite flower is a hydrangea, which I think we'll do Do we want to do this up here? Maybe here actually. So hydrangea is like a cluster of flowers, like a ball, sorry, which is actually a cluster of little flowers. And so instead of just kind of drawing the circle, we're going to do those little flowers and fill them all out, similar to how we did the dahlia. And sorry, I'm just staring down this helicopter until we make another circle shape. So once we have a few down like this, we can then start overlapping them to give it a more realistic look, so that there are some on top of others, and it's like they're all really growing outward. And then when it comes to these bits in the middle, I don't want to try and draw a whole one in there, so I'm going to just kind of fake it as if this one is under there, and we can do the same here. That one's under there. Using the tip of our brush. And these are kind of like 4-leaf clovery shapes. I love hydrangeas because they really remind me of Maine. I love how they look with gosh, I'm slow today. A wooden house, like outside of them. White ones or light blue, I think is so pretty. And they always make me think of my grandparents. So we'll just balance out our circle. And obviously, this is not to scale if that's a pansy and this is a dahlia. So I think I might do another round, so to speak. And so to make that balanced, I'm going to do one there, then one directly opposite it, and then basically doing like all the points on a compass, or the 12, 3, 6, 9 on a clock. This is how I do stars too. So then we have our base of spaced outness, and then we're going to go to the northeast. That's way too hard for me to name each of them, but you know what I mean. So then go halfway between each of those points. Not perfectly, so some are kind of behind the others. And then now that we have this kind of, oh, something's on the page there that doesn't want to carry my paint. We're just gonna go with it as opposed to fighting it, because the paper is part of the piece, and so if it's trying to tell us something, we'll pay attention. So these can look a little messier than usual, I think, just because of the organicness. Okay, I could totally draw leaves on this too, but I don't really think I want to leaf this particular piece. So we might add more. Let's see how the rest of the composition goes. And then if we need to add more, we can, because we still have a few more flowers to go. We're halfway through the flowers, then we'll untangle. So next is a tulip. I just love them. I have some pink and white ones in my living room right now. Let's do them, or let's do them here, so then I'm not getting my wrist in the way there. So I think what we're gonna do for the tulips is tulips. Can you see this okay? Because they're kind of at different stages of open and close throughout their lifetime, and I think that would be cool to represent. So we're gonna do the outside leaves first on this one, because they don't quite overlap in the same way as the dahlia and the peony. So as long as we get our outside organized, we can then fit the inside within it, if that makes sense. Then maybe one little guy in the back. And then next to this, we can do another one. And this one's more closed. Gonna get a nice mixture of pointy and rounded bits. I actually wish I'd made this one a little pointier, so we're gonna go back and clean it up, as I say. Okay. And then we'll fill in, I like tulips, no one asked, but I'm telling you, because I think they're just such an indication of spring. And they come in really beautiful colors. And there was that tulip bubble in the Netherlands, and I don't know when, but I find that kind of funny and a good like metaphor for a lot of trends and stuff that I think of often. And they're one of my favorites to have in my house. Okay, so next up, my third favorite is jasmine. Where do I want to put jasmine? I think I'll put her right here. So jasmine, I think smells so nice. And it reminds me of my grandma's house. Not the hydrangea grandma, the other grandma. Can we see this okay? I hope so. She had a huge bush of them. And I always thought they were so pretty and smelled so nice, and we would have breakfast out by her in her patio, on her patio, and we would smell them there, and so they feel nostalgic and fun to me. So they're made of 5 little petals, and these ones are quite curled up. I know they can be spread out more, but I wanted it to be a little different. Again, obviously not to scale. Do I want to do more of them? I think I do. However, I think I'm gonna put in my other flowers because I have 2 biggish ones. Here's how we're looking for number 1 and 2. And then with whatever space we have, we can add in the rest. So my second favorite flower is a bleeding heart. Love them. When I was growing up, my dad would always cut some and put them in my room, and I just thought they were so cool because they look like hearts. So how we're gonna do this, because there's again a few stages, kind of like the tulip, is we're gonna make the branch that they're on, including a little leaf. I don't know if branch is the right term, but that's what we're using today. And then we can draw them all dangling off of here. So we're gonna close up the branch and then do our first one. And also, I love the color of these. They're a really hot pink, and I love pink. And what they do is they kind of open over time. Maybe we'll do them in a few different stages. And so their wings here kind of go like this. And so we've just drawn one where it's closed. Do a bit of a bigger one. I always kind of do the larger, the more difficult parts first. So I'm gonna do the other side of the heart, and then that indicates to us where the branch can go up. Because if I had the branch down here and then where I went turns out wasn't a good place to start the other half of the heart, it would look funky. So I just feel like that gives me more control. Then let's do this one a different way. We'll have our little seed hanging, and then our little side bits like that. And then, oh, and then let's add some detail. Boop. And then let's have these ones overlapping for a bit of fun. Oh, you know what? I started. We're gonna do the twig first on this one. This is a little easier because something is overlapping. So what we do to make sure it lines up is I'm gonna, with my brush hovering over the paint, go around to where it would end and pick it up there, because then it will look realistic. Ooh, this one is much bigger, isn't it? That's okay. Our little droplet and the wings. And then some detail. And then I'm gonna pick back up on our twig. I'm gonna blend that a little. Twig, branch, stem, stem, I think that's what it is. And then come down here and do, oh, our paint kind of ran out more than I would like right there, so I'm gonna add some more in. And this one's gonna be open, so its little wing is out. Its other little wing. Connect. And then we have the little bit in the middle, which maybe is a seed. Not sure. Kind of looks inappropriate. And then we're gonna close out the branch. And let's check where the edge of the page is. Oh, just made it. Sometimes I go over the edge if I'm not sure where it was. And then let's add some little lines just to convey that this is round. Okay, nice. Little bleeding heart. How cute. And then my number one favorite flower is a hibiscus. They just feel so tropical to me, and there's loads in LA where I live. And I love the colors they come in. A lot of these that I like come in pinks and oranges and yellows. It's actually a yellow hibiscus plant right above, or like near my apartment. And when I was touring it, I saw that and I thought, this is the place for me. So we're gonna start with the stem because that is going to be in front of, not the stem. Oh my gosh, I forgot all my flower knowledge. Is it the anther? The stylus, the style. I don't know. No, this is the, you know what? I'm just gonna stop, actually, is what's gonna happen. I did learn that in school at one point. We're doing this first because this is going to be in front of the leaves that are behind. And instead of guessing where to stop and start the leaves, we'll just do this first and then we will paint the rest behind it. So that is going to sink down. My wrist is raised so I don't hit my bleeding hearts because they're still wet. Like this. And then we can go ahead and do, hibiscus have 5 leaves, sorry, petals. Let's start this one over here. And then that's gonna come around to about here. And in between, we have to make a nice ripply edge, which I'm gonna turn the page to do. And just move my brush in a bit of a wavy motion. And then let's add one of these. Boop. So how I'm doing that is I press my brush harder, and then to get to the end, to get a point like that, I lift it ever so slightly. And so just the tiny tip of the point is what's left at the end. So we get a nice crisp edge. Okay, then we're gonna do the leaf, the petal that would be in front of it. probably till about here. Okay. That should have been a touch smaller, but it's okay. And then it's funny when they overlap because I want to give that a kind of even chance. Let's do this back one next. And so we're going to use the kind of phantom petal technique. It would be like this, and then probably around here. So I'm gonna, yeah, that looks fair. Then we have these two, and I want them to overlap a bit. So this one's gonna come from behind here and go till about here, like it's falling over the side. And we'll give it a, that was a good one. I like that one way better than those ones, but we move. And then this, it's gonna be under both of these, so I'm not actually going to draw the sides. I'm just gonna draw where it comes out and goes back in. Lovely. So if we take a step back and we look at the composition of our whole page, it's not too evenly distributed. So what I think we'll do is add some more jasmine around here, or maybe just like there and there. And here could be a loose bleeding heart, or maybe it's some of, maybe jasmine actually are the fill-ins. You know what? That's a great idea. Well done, Lizzie. So get these little 5 leaves, petals, my God, going. So what I do when I do 5 like this, or a number where I want it to be even, is I'll do 1, and then I imagine it's like a star. And so 4 need to evenly fit around here. So instead of, if it was 3, it would be pretty obviously below, side, and side. But it's going to, we're gonna, do you know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm going to show you how I do that with some paper. Let me just find some paper. Okay, we're gonna use this little edge right here. Just gonna take a piece like this. And another one, just to show you. I'd pencil it, but I don't feel like erasing. So this now gives us 5 spaces. So we're going to draw a petal within each of these 5 areas. Hello Parmesan, sitting very politely right over here. And so usually I just make this little cross we've made in my head and then paint around it. So I'm not gonna go all the way to the center because I wanna do that once I've taken off the little paper, which I'm gonna pick up sticks a bit to get that. So I think it would have been better if I just made them up in my, or imagine that in my head, but get the idea. Connect them all. This one kind of looks like it's dancing, doesn't it? Little dot in the middle. Cute. Okay, where else? I think it would be nice to have, here's some tail. It would be nice to have one here, so let's do that, and it can be a touch smaller this time. So imagining our cross, we're gonna do one like this, like this. Oh, this part of the page is difficult for me because I can't always see over the lump from my vantage point, and so it's sometimes a little messier. And I think that's just cool. Me trying to swing everything for the positive. It's totally just a cool part of working in this book, right? Yep. I think I'm gonna do a mini one here and a mini one there. This piece also would have been good with my Princeton round number 1, but I just love this brush so much. That's a slightly smaller version of this one, so we could get a little detail and it would be less larger areas like that, which are fine as well. Okay, and then up here. So jasmine, it's kind of like the sides of these aren't so skinny, they're actually wider, but the sides kind of like swooped downwards on both sides. So to mimic that, I'm gonna still make the end round. Oh, we gotta squeeze 2 in here somehow. That's okay, we can do that. Like this. Okay, let's see how we are looking. Say hi, Parmesan. She loves art. Sorry, my camera stand is completely broken. Okay, yeah, so here's how we're looking. I'm gonna do one more next to this guy, and then I think that is going to look pretty even, and then we can start Zentangling them. So I think it would be fun to do a little bit of an overlap. So why don't we do this? Phantom line, come up here and back down. Because when they're on the bush, they're totally overlapping like this, so we want to give that its moment. That was a long one. Do another long one to balance it out. Love it. Okay, great. This is looking nice and tropical. Okay. Oh, never mind. Don't lick my page. Okay, let's move this camera over here and then, lovely. Okay, where should we start Zentangling? And also, which kind should we do? I think we should do the kind that goes outward, and this dahlia is looking particularly irresistible to me. So let's go in there first. So we're gonna re-up on some paint, have a sip of liquid IV. And I'm gonna start here. So we're going to follow the lines that we made. With new lines, kind of like creating a bubble around them that is a copy of the shape. So we're not trying to draw a bigger dahlia, we're trying to just expand what we have already there. So if it dips or there's a wiggle or any kind of, and not wiggle in a negative sense, but just like the shape moved, we're going to imitate that in our next line as well and take it into the next layer. Because this is a practice in just paying attention to small little details and calming down. I started by doing these when I was really anxious, and I realized it super calmed me down. And so now I do them just to get a good start on my day. And I usually do them in the morning, but it's actually the afternoon right now. The time has changed, daylight savings time, and the time where I would usually film is super bright that it's actually a bit difficult. So I've been doing other things during that time. I still painted this morning, but it was not something that I filmed. But maybe I'll get the hang of it. I mean, the sun's always moving, isn't it? Okay, now we're coming around We're gonna close up this design. And we have our first layer there. And I think what I'd like to do is a first layer around as many as I can. And then we'll see where that takes us. So let's do this. Hydrangea is a nice kind of opposite to the dahlia because it's the same, lots of little lines, but rounded, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna start over here and then, oh, I don't know if my focus lock was on. Sorry if you got any blur. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've got 100K followers on YouTube. Thank you so much. I literally can't believe it. I'm so confused. I just sit here in my room and paint, and 100K people like me enough to want to know what I'm painting. I'm so grateful. Thank you. I am gonna go live, like I said, when I would reach that. So if you have something you want me to paint on live, whether it's a particular color or shape, comment. I also have a chat about it going in my community section, I think it's called, in my posts. And you can like other people's answers, and I'm gonna do that. On the soon side, I can't wait. I've done a TikTok live, but I've never done a YouTube live. Right now it's March 19th. Do you know what's weird? Is I always, every single year of my life think March is the longest month, and this year, March has been the shortest month. I mean, we did have an awfully strange January and February over here in LA and the world, so that could contribute, but I noticed that recently. I was like, oh my God, it's already that. Anyways, I'm gonna work out how to go live because I'm not 100% sure. Can't be too hard to work out though. And then hopefully I'll see you there. I'll post about what it is and stuff. Okay, so we're gonna go around this jasmine very carefully. So our next layer, whenever we get there, these are going to connect pretty quick. I think that'll happen a lot in this piece because we've done big shapes. Oopsie, sorry. The reason I can't get my camera too close to the page is because my brush doesn't fit under it and it hits it. So we'll pick back up, go down the side. I really kind of feel like in my mind I'm walking through a garden right now. I don't know if it's this color or the shapes or the birds chirping out the window, but I feel peaceful. Okay, let's work on this bleeding heart. I think what I'm gonna do is this top line first, so then the rest of my hand is below it as that dries. And I'm gonna start from up here. So we have a tight little corner in there, and I'm gonna go not quite all the way, but pretty close, and then the same with the other side that comes to meet it. And then I'm gonna get the tip of my brush and really draw out the rest as far as it can go. Okay, and then this is gonna be the last line between these two shapes before they meet. So I'm gonna try and get it to be in the center as best I can. Nice. Who says nice to themselves, really? And here is interesting because it's gonna go in there, but it's also gonna come back out. So I'm gonna do the coming back out first. because I would have more control over that. And then I'm continuing the same way. I'm using my brush, less back and forth. The way I'm changing my brush is I'm now taking the tip and drawing in how the line would be, as opposed to kind of pulling along the side of the brush like we have been, like so. So it's really like mind off, because all I need to do, now that we've done the actual shape of the flowers, which was a bit of thinking, let's turn this a bit, is just follow what is here. And that doesn't take too much brain power. It actually feels like the opposite. This is a funny angle to get. Curves can be tricky because you want the same stroke, but you need different angles from your hands. Whereas like a something that's pointy, you can come in to a natural point, move your hand to get better angle, and go out again. So with that in mind, I'm just gonna do the bits that I have a better idea of how they're gonna go first. So like this. And then once those have met at a good point, kind of similar to how we do the background leaves after, I'm gonna go in like that. I'm trying to keep my white spaces pretty consistent with this one. And kind of the branch here particularly is similar to the depth, the width. Actually, I guess it's pretty similar. And same as the leaves of the jasmine. So that's kind of being my indication. With the first line around these, it kind of looks like stickers. It would be cute stickers. I love stickers. In my new studio, I have a drawer in my desk that is filled with all my stickers. It's really fun to go in there. I don't use them much though. If I'm writing a letter or something, I'll put some on, but that's all. I need more sticker projects. Okay, so this is a very thin line that I haven't decided how I want to tackle. Because this is technically the same round, I don't mind when those ones touch, and so I think that's going to be our best bet here. And I'm going to change the angle to make it easier for myself. And then we're going to go to this natural stopping point, which is the corner, as we mentioned, and make our way around and complete the shape. And so we've created a negative space here. And there's already an existing one just because of the shape of the flowers. And so once we do finish this line we're working on, we're going to go back and fill those in. Don't worry, I have not forgotten. So this isn't really following that so exactly. It actually should have gone in more, so I'm going to do that. And then back up. Sometimes I need to crisp the edge because the angle I used to get the current line wasn't one that allowed me to have access to the very tip. The tip is how we get those crispy little edges. So now, just because of the angles, I'm going to go in from the top and work our way down to meet, oops, where we were. I said oops because I had a little too much water on the brush, I think. Also, the corners of the page are hard because I don't have somewhere to rest my arm. Like if I was doing here, I would rest my arm. So sometimes I actually put my hand under it to give it a little platform. Let's do that. That feels better. Okay. Cute. So now let's go and do these little bits in here. This is for sure just going to be one round. Nice. And then this might have one plus a little dot or something. Let's see how it happens. I love these because you can't predict the outcome. And then you're forced to, not in a bad way, but forced to not worry about if it looks like your expectation, because you couldn't have any. And I need a little bit of that sometimes. Cool. That's so cute. I really like it. Let's move on to this guy, I guess. I'm hesitating because I don't really like the positioning of this, but I don't know what would be better. And make our way around. Yeah, nope, didn't like that positioning. Definitely need to clean this up. Oops, it's a little big. That's okay, just reflect it in our next line. I think actually, let's go here. Ooh, not vibing with this one, am I? I think it's because the bleeding heart is wet as well. Make our way around. Come into the corner. Did you see the periwinkle flower one I did? That had really good coming in and out petals in a satisfying sense. Okay, a little connection up here, a little crisp. Maybe this works better. I think so. So I'm gonna force this back for a little bit while I get in there to do this petal. This is actually really the purple of a pansy. I have all these vases that were my mom's, and they kind of were just sitting in my credenza. And then one day I thought, whenever I go to the grocery store, I should just get flowers to put in these. And so I have been, and I always have some around my house now. And it's so nice to have a little of the outside on the inside. Really into tulips, as I said, and I also have to be careful what kind of flowers I get because cats are like really badly allergic to lilies and actually a lot of flowers. For some reason, I think tulips aren't the best, but they do not go anywhere near them. Touch wood. So they've been okay so far, but like daisies, they don't are fine, and so I always have to like madly Googling in the grocery store if it's okay to get what I'm getting, but so far it's been okay. Parmesan actually did eat a leaf the other day and threw up, and she hasn't been near them since, so hopefully she learned her lesson. She's totally fine. She just is probably gross, obviously. I don't know why she ate it in the first place. We have these two little negative spaces in here. We're going to finish the outline first and then go back and get those guys. really like the hibiscuses. Is it hibisci? I don't know. That have multicolored, like I've seen one where this bit is pink and then the edge is orange or vice versa. It's so cool. It's like a tie-dye flower. Okay, so we actually have 3 little negative spaces with the way this has turned out. A little diamond, a little triangle. Oops. We have a kiss just happened over there. And then we have this, it's going to be a triangle as well, but a different one. Very nice. Now we've done the bottom half of the page, we can move upwards. I think what we're going to do, because remember it doesn't matter the shape anymore that we're trying to make, it's just about following a line, so it doesn't matter how the orientation is. Let's do our hibiscus and then we can move back this way so the wetness is going away from where our hands are. Need another sip. Having lunch after this, can't wait. You can hear my tummy, sorry. Oh, hey, Parmesan. Okay. Now, on both sides of this hibiscus, it's very close to the jasmine and the dahlia, so we want to pay extra attention. And I'm going to get the best angle to do that starting here. So we'll just follow the line. If I can make it all the way around, I will, but I often pick up the brush if I think I could get a better angle. So for this particular bit, we're gonna have a better angle if we come from in here. And I wish I could explain that better, but I don't really know. It's just a feeling. Maybe you know what I mean though. Get our point and come back in here and move around. Nice. I like how that looks. I also love Hawaii, and hibiscus remind me, maybe it's just hibiscus is the plural, remind me of Hawaii. Oops. Just painted the other side. I've got asked before if I'll paint the backs of pages, and maybe when I get through all the way through the book, but at this point, I don't think so. Okay, I'm gonna do this now. And then we can come back here. Whoa. Is it the stamen? Is that it? That sounds male. All I can think of is anther, filament, style, stamen. No, that sounds female. I'm gonna look up a diagram after this, because that's embarrassing, I've forgotten. I did GCSE biology. Okay, so really exciting. What has happened during this process is we got a little negative space. So let's go fill it in. And that's the only one I think that I can see, because the rest we can go back into on both sides. Now let's do this little jasmine. This is not a good angle or easy one to get to at any angle because this is just so thick. Do you see that? So we're just gonna do the best we can. we're gonna turn this one as we go because on this side, my hand doesn't bump into anything, and so that's gonna work better, but I hadn't done that because I was worried these were wet below, but it actually looks pretty dried. That's another reason I like watercolor is it dries so quickly that it's just, that's not an inhibiting factor. And I like to remove inhibiting factors or barriers to entry when it comes to creativity because sometimes it can be really hard to start and that's inhibiting enough, and so we don't need to add any more. That's how I feel about that. Okay, wow, I really like this one, it's so cute. So I'm gonna do this guy and then we're gonna go back around and turn the page as we had it. Bless you, cat. Sneak under the lamp here. This particular jasmine is giving bikini bottom ever so slightly. Okay, let's turn, actually, boop. Let's turn our page, and how do we want to do this? I think we'll do these first, so then we're not smudging anything. Then we're almost done with first outline. Because these two tulips were touching, they're obviously the same outside line. Then we're gonna come back in and do these little pointy bits. Oh, that was awfully close, but not close enough. So what was a point-ish at this time actually has a flat top, and so we are going to mimic that in our line instead of kind of making up that it was a point, imitating it with a point, and just following it as exactly as we can. I like to think of my stresses or worries as just being transferred into the page when I do these. So just allowing them to flow out a little bit. If I don't make these of anything or use nice colors or something, I feel like they actually kind of look like anxiety. Have you seen those black and white ones I did with pen? Not the loopy one, but this jagged ones. They literally look like anxiety to me. I don't have anxiety right now. Luckily, I have in life a million times, but not today. Very sweet. And now we're going to move on to our peony, which is going to connect to both jasmines, I predict. Okay, what is, honestly, this would be the best angle for it. I think what we'll, but the wetness, we're gonna do what we can and then reassess. So let's go here. Oh, look what I did with my little finger. Oopsie daisy. Guess this wasn't the best angle. Mimic that a little more. I really think this is going to be best, so I'm just going to... Okay, these are actually dry. You know what happens when you do that sometimes though, is then there's wet paint on your finger, and then that you can put somewhere else and spread it. So I like to just rub it, make sure it's not going to transfer. Okay, we did it. Nice. So let's have a look at everything from afar. It's important to take a step back sometimes and see the perspective of everything. So I think what I'm going to do is go in on the bits where I can get a second line out of them before they start to connect, and that would be the hydrangea, the pansy, and that's probably all. But then everything's a little closer together and we can do our bigger lines. So let's go in on these two bits. Do this one first, actually. I feel like blue isn't a color you see so much in nature. I mean, obviously it's all over the place in birds and fish, but hello, do you want to come and sit with me? You can. I guess not so much in flowers compared to pink, and Parmesan doesn't agree, and so I love hydrangeas because they're that little bit of powder blue, which was my grandma's favorite color, the same grandma who had them at her house. Her name was Elizabeth, and she was the second Elizabeth, and I'm the fourth Elizabeth. Crazy. Oops. Apparently, anyway. Okay. Okay, remember this pointy shape we made earlier? We're gonna go with the flow of it. Oops. Gonna thicken this out to make up for me dropping the brush. Oh, I do not like this angle. Kind of just takes me out of the zone a bit. But it's easy to hop back in, luckily, so we'll just get through this one and then we'll be back. Nice. I think let's go ahead with the bleeding heart. So how this is going to be is if we start here, for example, oops, go all the way up here, around here. I don't know if I can fit through there. around here, here, back up, boom, 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 boom. So it's going to be a nice big long line. And I guess we'll get started. Okay, I've noticed this little tiny bit here could get a dot. Sweet. I like to think of just like kind of walking through a forest or something and noticing all the little details. And then that's how you see those little bits like that. And it's just so clearing for the thought buildup. It's like the opposite of having lots of tabs open in your head. Hate that feeling. And then you get the rainbow pinwheel of death. Like when your computer freezes and then you can't function. That is a panic attack. Let's close all of our tabs, deal with one at a time, and just not to let that happen. Not that anyone willingly lets it happen, don't misconstrue that, but set ourselves up as best we can, I guess is a good way to put it. Okay, so this has gone down in here and it's going to come back out again. I love how dark this purple gets. I have a lot of really nice purple shades, so I can't wait to use them all. I have one that's even darker than this, and then I have the lilac, which is going to be the page before, and then I have a few sparkly ones, so I just got this. And this one's going to be great. I also have this, which is similar, but probably different enough that I'll do both. So that's about 4. Where were we? Here. Oh, we've come to this bit. And so there was a seed or something in the page that the paint has then collected on. Interesting. So when we go around it again, we're gonna go boop, boop, boop. I think maybe we can get through that. We're just gonna have to be ultra precise. So let's go up as far as this angle will take us. Ryan keeps sneezing. And then, Parmesan is back. If you were wondering where my cats are. And then we'll go from here. My hand might be in the way, sorry. It's a tricky one. Oh, we kissed a little bit. It's okay. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. And we'll just keep following. Just keep swimming. I think once I get through all the colors I'm doing, it could be really cool to do, maybe this is something you can do, an ocean with like a bunch of different fish in it, and then they're all different colors, and then the background of the Zen Tangle is blue, like they're actually in the water. That'd be cool. You can have that for free. I'm gonna make that corner a little clearer. Okay. And then down in here too needs to dip. Dipped on this side, but not on that side. Oh no, my liquid IV is almost done. Okay. And we're going to turn the page, and now we have a little bit of a tricky question. Do we try and go through here? And then it'll also take us around this? Or, oh no, it wouldn't. It would just go like this. I think we try it, and if they kiss, that's great for them. Okay, so I'm gonna try and use my point. Also, I know I can technically go through it regardless, but I'd like to keep the lines pretty consistent. And so when I'm at a bit where I'm using just the point, I feel like it just looks a bit different, the thickness. And so that's what deters me. But then it's not exactly the same consistency all the way around anyway, just because of like what angle I was at. Like that one's thicker, I guess I was pressing harder. So sometimes I'm like, you know what, allow. Okay, then we'll connect these, which makes a nice little negative bubble. We also, I can't resist filling it in right now, have this little eye. So let's fill that in. And then now this is divided. Has it? Well, it hasn't divided, but it means next time we go up here, we're gonna come around like so. I'm gonna go in from this side, because that would be better. So once we've done a couple rounds of lines like this, honestly just a couple, like 2 or 3, it's going to be mostly negative spaces that we then just need to fill in. So, because these shapes are big, as I said, so kind of we're gonna savor where we have these long lines to do, and then it's going to transform into us like kind of filling in little areas, which I'll walk us through again as we get there. In the meantime, we have this nice triangle. Boop. I know I said before I like to finish the whole line. It's not. And then, oh, we're coming out of the frame here. Okay, so I think I'm gonna get the smoothest way if I start from this side here. And come around the tip. I guess, yeah, we'll keep going like this, around this little dangle. Then here is this tricky part because of the wrist situation. We have another little visitor going on. Hello. So especially with a shape like this, the negative spaces and the little bits, blank bits that pop up are almost impossible to predict because you don't know how the different shapes of the flowers are going to interact with each other and how many times and all of that. Whereas with something like circles, you know, okay, well, where all the circle edges come together, it's going to start making triangles or those pillow shapes. And so I don't have a favorite way of doing this. I honestly like having the variety, but it's just something to take note of. Oh, I should have put my hand under my wrist here. Actually, not too bad. Oop. But we are going to put it now, so I have grabbed on. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do though? This first, because that's gonna drag. And again, the longer area, and then just a little bit to connect. Something smells like cake. It's like strawberry cake. The edges of the page I've noticed, and like the bottoms, have a little bit of a different texture. Not even the deckled edge, but like a bit before. Okay. Cool, so that was our second line. I like to balance it out, so let's do that again up here, so that it's all kind of expanding at around a similar rate. And I often get asked if I can do it not like that. So I'll do one not like that soon. I'm gonna start here. I often find where I first put down the brush is where I get the most control, because I've aligned my wrist and hand for that specific moment. And so when there is a tricky bit, I'll typically try and do that first, I've realized. Or I'll set it up and then do it in its own motion. Phew, okay. I just found out, as random, the dorm where I lived freshman year of college is being demolished. It was Whitehall at Northeastern, if anyone knows that. And I think the structural integrity was compromised for some reason. I do not know what that could be because of, but I just saw a picture of it getting taken down. I was like, oh my God. Rip. It's weird when something like that happens. Ooh, got a good negative space there. Let's do that after we finish this line. It's so weird to think of when you can't go back somewhere. Like I used to think every time I'd pack up my dorm in boarding school, like the way I had the pictures and everything, I could never go back to that moment. Like maybe I could even go back, let's move this around. Maybe I could go back to that room when someone else lives there, but it'll never be the same. It's just such a odd feeling, which obviously makes me think about when a house is burned down. I'm speechless. I can't even fathom what that must feel like. Makes me sad. That was a good one. Wow. Okay. Now remember this happened. We're going to keep it in our design. show you how, although I'm sure you can guess. If this is your first time seeing my videos and you have made it this far, thank you, that's pretty cool. What is making you stay? Asking for R&D purposes. So we're just gonna go around that little bit. And you know, maybe the jasmine had a freckle, or maybe it's a ladybug or something on the leaf. Could be anything. And we need to follow that line a little more. Whoa, I just had a severe flashback to the coconut margaritas at Loco in Boston. Maybe because I was thinking of college in the back of my brain, but those were so good. Also, maybe because I'm smelling something sweet. Anyways, that subconscious combination really pulled that margarita out of nowhere, but whoa, that was fun. Okay. I feel like when I am doing this and it really frees up my brain of like all the bad things I don't want to think about, or not even bad things, but like my to-do list at work. Like it's literally sitting next to me, written in pen. It's not going anywhere. I don't need to obsess over it. One of the things to do is this painting. So why don't I just worry about this painting and not that, you know? That's the whole point of these. Anyways, where was I going with that? Oh dear. Hold on. Oh yeah, so it frees up space for random things like that coconut margarita to come in my head. Funny. Okay, let's do this nice little bit. We're gonna move the page around so I can rest my hand on this nice dry hydrangea, and we'll fill that in. And then we have, this is a funny shape. It looks like a saddle that you put on a horse, like Western style. So we're gonna fill in the tip of the saddle. And we're gonna go in and do the rest. Ooh, awfully close. We did kiss. Great. Okay. Now let's have a look at everything again and decide where we want to do our next line. So let's kind of play pretend of where it would go. Go like this. Oh, it would probably stop there. Go around here. Go in there, back out. Okay, so that would be our longest one, and it would create this white space, and then once that's done, it'll really divide things into two. I reckon we do that. Back down we go. And what's the best way to do that? I think like this. Okay, here is a little bit where we're going to go up into this little cavern fill out and then come back down the same line down here, and then we're also going to get that little triangle while we're at it. Crisp up right here. If you're wondering why the paper has dots in it, it's handmade paper from L'Amelie, Paris, and I think the dots are just kind of like little seeds or bits of other paper pulp. I don't know exactly, but it's just part of how it is when you have handmade paper. Oh, see how it bled into that little bit? We're gonna go around it, and that's gonna be a little aphid on our dahlia, which is not good. I don't know if aphids even like dahlias, but I was trained to kill aphids whenever I saw them, because they eat the flowers. Okay, we're past it anyway. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Why am I out of breath? Someone riddle me that. I think I had a bit of a weird morning. Like, nothing bad happened, but I did a different order of things, and I guess it's got me off guard. I don't know, but I'm fine. So I don't think we can force it through there, just like we couldn't force it through right there. So we're going to go as far as we can, and then we're going to approach it from the other side. And we can do just a tiny little guy in there, and then come back. Oops. Soon these are all gonna kind of come together and just be one little point, I predict. Okay, we made it around the right side of the page, and now we're going to do this, oh God, this top edge. I also like to pick the brush up fully so that I can, sometimes, so that I can then place the tip down with like kind of a fresh start, and so I can get a good crisp corner. So now that we have done this, it has divided, I'll show you later, but this whole section, this negative space, into one bit that we can then start shrinking once we finish what we are working on. Oh, I want a little more pigment. More safe. Also, I can't deal. So cute and polite. Hello. You having fun? Where were we? Oh, we're at this weird angle. You know what? I'm actually gonna skip it for now, because where I want to put my wrist, we just did, so it's wet, and we're going to go from the kind of best place we can that it's going to meet up with first. keep hitting. Oh, I've done it again. Jeez. Let's move. Okay, cool. I need to move you up a little, sorry. Gotta get my brush under here to go like this. There we go. And then the same on the other side, around this nice little jasmine. Ooh, this is gonna be a long video. Hope you are doing something you're enjoying while watching. And now we can connect that because I found an angle that works for me. Okay. Turn things around. My binder clips are falling all over the place over here. And now we're working our way down the left side of the page. But I think what I'm going to do is go from here for angle purposes. Until we meet up with our line. And we're making a little kite shape that we can fill in. Since we have a lot of little negative spaces happening, I'm gonna wait until we finish this line to go in and get them all in one go. So this is gonna go in here and back out. So I'm gonna do the back out so we know exactly where it's coming. And then great. Now we have this tricky bit. I'm gonna pull this apart. We can let it go a little as we go around this petal, which is going to cut off the left side from the rest of the page because that's gone as far as it can go. Okay, and we're gonna keep on doing it until we go all the way around the bleeding heart and complete this big, big, big line, probably the biggest line of our whole piece. So yeah, maybe these could have connected, but I think it would just be well, now they're close enough. I'm gonna just do it, right? Yeah, I guess so. Okay. This hydrangea outline is kind of looking like a chocolate chip cookie. And it's gonna look more and more like that as we go because it's going to get less and less specific with each bubble layer, like less detail. Actually, I think this might be the last time we can really go around it. But you know what it looks like? It looks like an oatmeal raisin cookie. My mom used to make these chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. Oh, I wonder if my sister has the recipe for that. Sister, if you're watching this, can you please send me that? Because I feel like she'd have it. And they were so good. I loved them. This looks like, what does that look like? I was gonna say a poncho, but it's definitely not long enough to be a poncho. The chokeholds ponchos had on me, my God. I had so many and I adored them. Gonna go in that corner, get a good place where we can then swirl our way around. Okay, then it's gonna be our last line. That's a full line on top of our bleeding heart. And I'm gonna start from down here as usual, because I just liked how that's been working for me. And follow it pretty exactly. It's, oh, whoa, whoa. Really lost my balance there. It's okay, just a little bit of fun, I guess. It's really tempting to, oh, I have to do this one, sorry. Don't know why I'm apologizing. To kind of play into the shape of this, but we were really just tracing the branch as opposed to going branch up into hydrangea, and you know. Okay. I think we can make it down there if we're extra careful. Oh, sorry, Parmesan. She likes to sit up really close to things and then, oh no. She's using it as a, okay. Or she's just resting like that, that's fine. She likes to get up really close to things and then I have to move it and she's a bit upset and I'm like, well, Parmesan, there's something going on here and you decided it was a good place to sleep. That was not a co-approved situation. And then I say, I'm gonna stop talking to my cat like she's a person. Okay, cool. So, oh, someone's sneezing. We have gone all the way around. Awesome. So now what I want to do is go and tackle all the little negative spaces. Wow, this lamp is really at the end of its days. Not funny at all, actually. Okay. So, do you see any? I see loads. Let's start in the center and work our way out. So I see this one, this one, this one, this one, a bunch by the bleeding hearts, and then over here, and here, and here. Fun. All right. In we go. So now we're not going line by line. We're gonna go area by area and just filling them in until they are no more. Oh. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of horse saddles. Is that just me? Lovely. Now moving on to this, which is quickly going to become two little, oh gosh, I've got to move you up. Two little triangle type things. And we have this big one that kind of looks like a horse saddle. Am I okay? You know, like here's where the back of the horse is, and then it's falling. And then there's the end and the front, or whatever it's called. I'm not a professional cowgirl, much to my dismay. Also could be a cat, sort of. Like here's its paw going forward on a walk. There's its little head, its tail. Anyways, it could be a lot of things. Let's fill it in. Oh, this kind of looks like a really spread out butterfly. Also, like when people are watching something on TikTok and they're like amazed by it, and then they do the eye, lip, eye. Kind of looks like that. Okay, the last major negative space before we tackle those 3 big ones that are left is going to be this whole corner situation. I need to see where I can paint and not paint, so I'm going to lift up the page a bit. Realize I could go up in there a touch. Okay, so we now have this bottom section, we have this side, and then this large part that I want to do first, so I can get it out the way because I don't really like this side. Oh my gosh, this is such a long video. Yikes. I don't even know the upload limit. I'm gonna do this bit now because I don't know when I'll next be coming back up here because it's such a long bit. Same with this. I'm gonna peel this back. I'm actually gonna look through my phone to see this once I get the right place because I'm a little smaller than it and I can't, like I'm sitting lower and I can't really tell. Oh, I've never painted through the phone before. I don't like it, don't like it. We crashed. You know what? We tried and now we know. I'm gonna need to find a solution for the rest of these pages where this part is really thick. If you have one, drop it. Okay, this is, I don't think we even need to go all that way, so I'm gonna finish it off there. And then this little corner is gonna be its own section that I think we can just go ahead and do. Definitely messier over here, but you know why? I don't need to say it again. Okay. What if we turned this actually? Sorry, Parmesan. Now that this, yeah, this is dry. Okay, cool. So now we can move in this way. Can connect these now that I can see them. Oh dear. Yeah, see the brush gets hit by this, so I can only do certain angles. So that wasn't too bad. Uh-oh, I can feel my hand in something wet. Ah, it's okay. Wasn't too bad. Great, now we have 4 little areas, and so I'll do that. So White Lotus is getting crazy, huh? Just watched the most recent one. A lot going on. I love that show. Chloe particularly cracks me up. I think that's her name, the girlfriend, the Canadian one. Or is she French? Wait, I might be mixing my shows. I feel like I'm running out of steam over here. I need lunch. I'm having homemade chicken soup with creme fraiche, obviously. Okay. Oh, we have a Cassandra. 2 Cassandras. Gonna come in from both sides because then I can maximize those shapes while they're getting small. It just is easier that way. And then I will connect what's left. And then we're gonna do the same. And this is probably the last one that's gonna go so far down. So the biggest one's first. And then I can, because the small ones, they're so small, they're almost not even a whole line. It's more like a drawing. So we'll add them after. And close out. Then we have our half Cassandra, which, if you don't know what that is, it is this lady from Doctor Who is kind of like a big piece of skin, and she's stretched out like this. And in a TikTok I made recently, I said negative space looked like her, and a lot of people understood what I was talking about, which is funny to me because I didn't know so many people watched Doctor Who in 2005. Anyway, okay, so I reckon let's do this line now. So we've done this line multiple times before, but it had gone all the way around. This time it is stopping. Just something to notice. Let's look at what is the same about this time and then what is different. I guess what's different is that we're kind of creating some negative spaces as we go. So for example, that one doesn't connect to the rest anymore. We still have these spiky bits. This area here looks like classic jagged Zen Tangle form. We're gonna move over our aphid that we saw earlier. We've gone into this little cavern. And then we'll come back out and touch. Now it's running out of water there, I could tell, so I re-upped. And we'll continue. A lot of watercolor is just kind of having a good feel of, or like connection with your brush. Kind of like any tool you use a lot. You just need to really know it inside out, and then you can do whatever you guys want to do together. Whoa, what the heck? There's a ghost in here, I guess. Okay, so let's go and do these two little bits. I think we should do the bits that pop up as we go for this one, and then just then return to the outside line until the outside line is just completely bits as well. Oh, it was Ryan. Okay, obviously. Hey, bud. What's up? So that made a divide. When it's smaller little zigzags like this, I kind of like to do it in one go. Actually, not the sigh. And this, I think we can carry through. Actually, that's a little skinnier than I'd like. So here we are really closing out the point of our tulip. I'm liking the variation in the opacity here. We have quite dark purples, and it doesn't really go too light. The lightest is probably like this, or here is really light, and then here's the darkest. Oh, that's a really nice natural ombre, like this, boom, 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 boom. It's cute. Didn't even do that on purpose. Okay, and now we can do these two final bits. Oops, that's a bit wet. Let's be careful. So I know this is the longest video ever. I'm gonna do some shorter versions too, but let me know what you guys want to see. The like 10 to 30 minute section I have a bit of a hard time with, because anything shorter than 10 I've put on TikTok and done a voiceover of it already, and a 10-minute voiceover is pretty long. And so then to do another version of it here and then do a whole new like 20-minute voiceover is on the same thing is not something I'm trying to do. So do you want those ones with music, or what would you like to see? Let's start there. What kind of videos? And then like length versus speed versus cuts versus no cuts versus music or talking. Let me know, and then I'll try and make my best combo of all those things. I'd like to have a variety in general because I just think that's a good thing to do, but yeah, just so you know my thought process. That 10 to 30, I haven't really worked out my stride there, I guess. Oh, we missed a little nook. Are we gonna get this tulip to a little single point by the end of this page? I think so. Okay, extremely cute. This could go down a touch more actually, couldn't it? I usually don't like to fold the decal, but I could just really tell on that one, this one here. Okay, so, wow, looking like really lush if gardens were purple. Vegetation, oh my God, area now. Okay, so we're gonna go up here, down, and then that's really quickly gonna turn into a bunch of little negative spaces that we will get into. Also remember, if you want a custom Zentangle, I could do that. So like your choice of thing, like shape and color, and then I'll send it to you. It'll be one of one, just yours. They're on my website. Or you can order one on my website, I guess. Okay, we're going to connect this line again, and I'm going to go from the bottom of the stem of the bleeding heart, as I've been liking to do. And then I'm going to, because there isn't much other space left, even before we finish this line, because it's going to go here where I enjoy resting my hand, I'm going to complete this area. Yeah. I was going to say on the one below, but I don't actually have all the boundaries of that yet. Cute little areas. Sometimes I actually like this brush for precision more than a tiny brush, because with the tiny ones, the bristles can spread out pretty quickly. Like they're not so precise for as long as something like this, where they're longer into the stem of the brush, maybe is how I'd put it. It's just the best brush ever. It's the Princeton Round 2, if you didn't catch that before. Not an ad, I wish. Honestly, I wish, because I talk about them every single video. Oh well. Okay, now we just have these two final bits. Oh, and that little, I have too much water on my brush right now to do it, but let me get it off. So I'm always checking in with the tip of my brush, really, I realize. And let's get it a little drier. Because if we do a tiny area with too much water, it'll pretty easily splooge around, and like we have a lot less control when there's more water, and kissing can happen. And we love kissing, but gotta keep it appropriate. Last little bit. I go up one side, re-up, and down the other. Whoa, was that a woodpecker? Cool. And then boop. Okay. Wow, I really like it. Is that focused? Hard to tell. Looks so lush. It's interesting to see like how the hydrangea looks with all its little lines versus something like the hibiscus, which stands out more. Then this kind of pattern with this little pattern, then these lines are much more like this, whatever that is. This is classic flower shape. Lizzie, for real. Okay, great, how fun. Thanks for watching. And I'm gonna go have my lunch, and I will post a picture of this on Instagram today and on my story probably. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you have any questions, just comment them. And also, don't forget to subscribe. See ya.